What's going on, everybody? David here. Today we're going to talk about the next move. So we heard today earlier that we heard a few Republicans say this in the House and in the Senate that basically this bill, this stimulus check bill, this HEROES Act, it's going to be dead on arrival. So as soon as it goes over to the Senate, they're not going to do anything with it, or they're not going to vote on this particular bill. So I think it's a bluff. I'm going to explain to you guys the reasons why. But first off, on this channel, we talk about personal finance and traveling on a budget. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell notification so you can get future updates on my videos. So let's talk about this. But first, I want to back up just a little bit so we're all on the same page when it comes to where we are at this particular moment. So you have the House. The House is not in session right now. The senators are in session, but the House is not. But they did draft a bill. And they put the bill out, the HEROES Act, and everybody's talking about it right now. I've done a couple of videos on it. I'll continue to do a few more videos on the HEROES Act and everything that it entails. One of the big things that people were interested in, are we getting another stimulus check? And a stimulus check is in this bill, among a variety of other things. So the bill is getting a lot of attention. Now, some people are really against it. Some of the Republicans in the House are saying this is crazy. This is a crazy wish list. And the Republicans in the Senate are saying similar things where they're just not going to deal with it. And so that's where we are. The House has not voted on it yet. However, Nancy Pelosi, who is a Democrat, she is the one that is one of the authors of the bill, which means that it's going to pass the House. So they'll go ahead and vote on it on Friday. Once they vote on it, it's going to go over to the Senate. So once it goes over to the Senate, now Mitch McConnell, the majority leader of the Senate, he's going to have to figure out what to do with this bill. Are we going to vote on it? Are we just going to table it, not do anything with it? Are we going to create our own bill? Are we going to make changes to this current bill? What are we going to do? And already they've been talking about just not doing anything. So there are some senators that are saying, let's just go to recess. And I know they want to go on recess again, recess on May 25th. So from May 25th to May 29th, they'll go on a recess for Memorial Day, and then they'll come back on June 1st. So that's kind of the way they want to do it. They want to wait and see. They're still playing this. Let's take a pause. Let's look at all of our finances, and then we can figure out what we're going to do. Now, I agree. $3 trillion is a lot of money. And so you do need to take a look at it. But do you really need to wait that long? Because we're talking about waiting until June 1st in order to make a decision. I think that would be disastrous if they did something like that. I think their best move at this point is to create their own bill. Create their own bill. They can do it right now. And then as soon as that bill comes to them, then they can counter with their bill. And as long as their bill has some things in it that Democrats want, then we might be able to see what happens as far as working things out. But if they don't do anything and they just let this bill go and say, we're not going to vote on this one, we're going to go to recess and come back on June 1st, that is a horrible optic. Horrible. I mean, that's the worst thing that they can do. And you have to understand, like I said, this is an election year. So you have the president who's running for re-election. You have 23 Republican senators who are running for re-election. You have 12 Democratic senators that are also running for re-election. So they have to move on this. So as I earlier stated, this would be horrible optics for the Senate. I mean, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're going to have the public looking at you. And this is interesting because prior to this, I mean, there are certain situations where the mass public are paying attention to what's going on in Congress. But for the majority of the time, we're not paying attention to what's going on in Congress. And so it allows them to kind of have a little bit of leeway. There's no pressure. They can kind of say, okay, we're just going to push this off. You might have some real diehard people who are paying attention to what's going on. But for the masses, you don't have a lot of people that are paying attention to what's going on. But this is different because we're in a crisis, because people are out of work and people need stimulus money. They're paying attention. Businesses, same way. They're paying attention because there's funding for businesses. State and local governments, they're paying attention because there's funding for state and local governments. So everybody's watching. And right now, everybody's watching the Senate to see what they do. And if they decide we're not going to do anything with it, we're going to come back on June 1st, and then maybe we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. It's going to be a disaster for them in November. And I think they know that. And Mitch McConnell, he's pretty savvy. He's smart enough to realize if he wants to keep his majority leadership, then he's going to have to make some decisions, and they might not be the decisions that he wants to do at this time. And we have the Treasury Department's already saying we need more stimulus. We need more stimulus into the economy. So that means direct payments to individuals and funding for state and local governments and funding for small business and business in general. So we already know that the Republicans are in a tough situation in the Senate. They're in a tough situation, and they're going to have to make some moves. So it's one of those deals. Get a bill across. If they can, it's like a hot potato. If they can get a bill right back to the House, then it's going to be on the House. Now Nancy Pelosi's under the hot seat because now she has a bill in front of her, and if she doesn't approve that bill, then they're going to have to send it back. They're going to be going back and forth. So you don't want to be that person holding that hot potato in a situation like this, because everyone's looking at you to make a decision. And if you can't make that decision and get it to the White House as soon as possible, then people are going to blame you. And so then once it goes to the White House, and it's going to be that same situation. Now it's going to be on the president. What are you going to do? Are you going to sign it? You're going to veto it? How are you going to handle that? So it will be very interesting to see what happens in the next week and a half, because something should happen at that time. I'm telling you, if they do wait and they go on recess, it's going to be a disaster. So we should see a vote on Friday in the House, send it over to the Senate. Hopefully next week the Senate's going to have to figure out something and either vote on it or not vote on it, because if they wait, it's going to be a bad deal for them. So I'm very interested to know what you guys think, though. So please, down below, let me know what you think. Also, stimulus checks. If you've received your stimulus check, we're talking about the first stimulus check. Let us know down below. That way I can let other people know. I know there's some people on SSI who were receiving their checks yesterday. So let me know. It's very, very important. Veterans beneficiaries, they should be next up. So we should be hearing some stuff about that coming soon as far as dates. I'm hoping it'll be next week. However, they haven't really mentioned too much about veterans beneficiaries. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Some people on SSDI still have not received their checks, and I don't know what the holdup is when it comes to that. But I know that with SSI, some of the payees, so the representative payees, there's some issues with that as well. So those payees aren't receiving money. So we'll have some more information on that in the future. But like I said, if you did receive your check, or if you have not received your check, let me know down below. That way we can start kind of figuring out who hasn't received their stimulus checks via direct deposit and who has. So if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.